Okay, so today we are going to be reviewing the first movie in John Carpenter's Halloween series. Actually, did he do all of them? Let me just check that. John Carpenter. He might not have. That's a lot to read on the back of this. Anyway, let me know in the comments if he did do all of them. So, let me just grab my notes here and get this review rolling. So, Halloween, very first movie. I've seen this, well, I've pretty much watched it every year. I think I missed 1 year since I bought it, but I can't remember exactly what year I bought it. But anyway, I'm going to go with notes because I know a lot of my past reviews have been without notes, and sometimes I forget stuff or I add stuff in that isn't even in existence in that movie. Like, for example, the Star Wars series, if you've seen those. I think Jabberwockies is what I was calling the Ewoks, and it was bad. So, in the opening scene, the camera pans outside of the house, but you don't know whose house it is. Someone takes a knife from the drawer, then walks upstairs, grabs a mask off the floor, and then all you see is this woman go, "Michael," so you know the character's name is Michael. So all of a sudden she gets stabbed to death. And it's Michael's sister that he ends up killing. So then Michael runs outside as his parents are coming home with a knife in his hand and the mask on. His father takes the mask off, and Michael's just kind of standing there with a blank expression on his face. Doesn't really know what he's done, doesn't really know where he is exactly, just knows that he's done something wrong. So then we go into the future, so many years later. And you don't find out at the credits that I guess he was supposed to be 6 in the original scene and 23 when he grows up. But we'll get to all that later. So then it goes to scene 2 in Smith Grove, Illinois on October 30th of 1978. A doctor and nurse are traveling to the mental hospital where Michael is held. But when they get there, all the patients are outside, which isn't supposed to be happening, clearly. That would be, they know somebody's broken out. So the doctor gets on the phone, and then all of a sudden you see this person crawl up the car, on top of the car, grab the nurse inside. She flees out of the car, and the patient takes off with the car. Then we go to Haddonfield, and it is Halloween Day. Yes, Halloween Day. This girl walking to the school, passes the Myers house, drops off a key there. Somebody's already inside the house. She doesn't see them. This person, we assume that it's the person in the house that starts to follow her. Where was I? And then when she's at school, she sees this strange car outside of the school. The teacher calls for her name because they're asking her a question. Her name is Lori. When she looks outside again, the car's gone. Then there was a kid walking with her when she was at the Myers house. So then it goes to this next shot of this kid getting bullied. The other kid's telling him that the boogeyman is going to be coming for him. And when the kids flee, one of them flees over the fence at the school. This person that's when following Lori grabs the kid. Then the person then gets back in the car and begins to follow the kid that was bullied. Then it goes to the scene of the doctor warning somebody that Michael is coming to Haddonfield. The doctor finds an abandoned truck on the side of the road with a match pack in it reading Rabbit in Red. I don't know. I can't really figure out why that's important, but I maybe have to watch the movie a couple more times because there's stuff that I still don't pick up on even watching it now. And then it sort of just pans over to a dead body beside the truck, so I'm assuming that was the person driving the truck that was killed by Michael. Lori sees the strange car again when she's walking home. Car begins to take off when one of Lori's friends yells, "Speed kills." Car slams on brakes. The car slams on its brakes. It sits there for a couple seconds. then it takes off again. And then she's walking down the street with her friend, and then all of a sudden she sees someone in overalls and a mask standing behind this bush just down the road looking directly at her. Person walks behind the bush right before her friend can get a chance to see. Then she goes home. Then she sees the same person standing in a yard. She picks up the phone, then begins to ring. She picks it up, nobody's there. Phone rings again. It's her friend Annie. She says, "Why did you hang up on me? Did you not hear me?" Laurie says no. So then we go to the next scene. The doctor visits the grave of Michael's mother, Judith Myers. Actually, I thought the grave was empty, but it was just the headstone that was taken, I guess. Not the whole... The grave hadn't been dug up. Then it flicks to the next... not scene, but clip, whatever you want to call it. This car begins to tail Annie and Laurie. They pull up to her dad, who's the sheriff. There's been a break-in at the hardware store. Only a mask, rope, and knife were stolen. Then this is when I found out anyway. Maybe they said it before, but the doctor's name is Dr. Sam Loomis, so this makes it a little easier to go on with the rest of the review. Then all of a sudden, so this car that was tailing them pulls off to the side of the road. That's another important part. Sorry that I guess I didn't write down. And then as soon as Annie and Laurie leave from the hardware store, the car pulls around the corner right behind Dr. Loomis. And you clearly know who's in the car at this point. From Dr. Loomis's perspective, it's Michael. Oh, sorry. So then the car still tailing Annie and Laurie in the next scene. Annie drops off Laurie, parks across the street. Car tailing them parks outside of road again. Person gets out, watches Annie go inside to the house she's going into. Dr. Loomis goes to the Myers house with Sheriff. And I'm glad they didn't show it, probably because this movie is a little older. But they find a partially dead eaten dog, I believe that's what they said it was. Sometimes it's hard to hear because it's such an old movie, but then Laurie and Annie are on the phone when the dog's barking. When a dog starts barking in the house that Annie's in, someone is clearly outside. It shows that. Kid Laurie is taken care of. She's someone standing across the street after asking what the boogeyman is. Tries to tell... Oh, he tries to tell Laurie that there's someone there. The boogeyman is there. But by the time he does, the person is gone. The kid's name that Laurie is taking care of is Tommy. We finally find that out, or at least that's when I heard his name first. So then, flip to the next scene. Someone is watching Annie in the kitchen. They knock over a plant, and they flee. This startles Annie, makes her look out the window. Then it kind of goes to the dog being outside with the person watching Annie. Begins to bark again. The dog's name is Lester. This person kills Lester. After Annie starts yelling for somebody to keep the dog quiet, Tommy tries to tell Laurie he's seen the boogeyman. Laurie says the boogeyman could only come out once a year and she will protect him. Annie goes, and then... So that was the next scene. Sorry, scene 7, that's where it starts. Was Tommy trying to tell Laurie that he's seen the boogeyman. She says, "There's nothing that can hurt you. I will protect you." All this good stuff. So then it goes to Annie going outside to the shed to clean her clothes because she'd actually spilled stuff on her clothing in the kitchen right before the person was outside watching her. And all that stuff. There's no power in the shed. All of a sudden it shows a person right outside the door of the shed. Annie gets locked into the shed. Annie calls for Lindsay, who is the kid that she's taking care of. As person watches Annie struggle to get the door open. Annie finds a way out. Phone rings. Lindsay picks up. Goes to find Annie to let her know Paul called. Paul must be Annie's boyfriend, I'm assuming. Annie got stuck in the window, so that's when Lindsay finds her, stuck in the window of the shed. Annie on phone with Paul while person watches her from open door. So when they come back into the house, Annie leaves the door open and unlocked. So this person is standing right there watching her. And as soon as she turns around, the person disappears. So then Annie is going to go pick up Paul. So Annie takes Lindsay over to Lori. This person all of a sudden stands up in the front yard and is watching them cross the street. And then this is actually, it was really a really well done scene. So Annie goes back, goes to open the car door. The car's locked. So she goes to get the keys, comes back, doesn't realize that she hasn't even put the key in the door to unlock it. Opens the car door. She's like, oh, she goes, wait a second. And then she looks and she realizes that the mirror's all foggy. And then all of a sudden, this hand comes up and grabs her. So anyway, that's the scene where Annie gets killed by this person. Then it goes back to the house that Lori's in. Tommy tries to scare Lindsay. Then when he's hiding behind a curtain, he sees, all of a sudden, Tommy sees this person carrying Annie back into the house across the street. And then it shows once again, Dr. Loomis still waiting for Michael to come back to his house. So then we go to the next scene. Some friends show up at the house Annie was killed at. They start making love, pans to the person in the house watching them. So I guess it wasn't really a pan, it kind of just zooms out to this person watching them in the living room. Then they move things upstairs. This person enters the room that they're in upstairs. One of them leaves to go get beer. And then hears this noise, so he thinks it's his girlfriend. The door creaks open, I guess, when he's downstairs. Then he closes it, opens the pantry, opens the closet, and then he's met face to face with the person who has killed Annie. And he ends up getting killed himself. Then this person goes back upstairs, draped in with a white sheet just over top of him, with this guy's glasses on. The girl's in bed, asking him all these questions, but he won't say anything. And the guy's name that he's pretending to be is Bob. So she gets on the phone to call Lori to see where Annie is. Then she gets strangled with the phone. Lori looks across the street after this phone conversation, and the lights go off in the house across the street. Then we go to the next scene. Dr. Loomis is still waiting for Michael to return. Then all of a sudden he looks and spots the car that Michael was in. And he would know it because this was the car that was stolen at the beginning, right? So then, after this weird phone conversation, Lori makes her way over to the house Annie was in, calls out for Bob, Linda, and Annie. So those were the other two friends of Annie that came over. Lori finds the door open, goes upstairs. One bedroom light is on. That's all. That's the only light that's on in the entire house. The rest of the house is dark. Originally, I thought it was Linda that she found dead on the bed, but once after I watched the whole scene, I found out it was Annie. So she finds Annie dead with Judith Meyer's tombstone propped on the headboard of the bed. Then the closet swings open. Bob's hanging there by his feet in the closet. And Linda is stuffed into the storage cupboard in the bedroom. So then, this is the final scene of the movie. So, all of a sudden, it just shows like the mask come out of the darkness, and this person just attacks Lori. Lori's screaming for help. She goes to the next door neighbor's house. They just turn off the lights and turn them back on. As she's screaming, she runs across the street, can't find her keys, scrambling for her keys, yells for Tommy. As the person is coming across the street after her, Lori makes it inside. The power's been cut off because she picks up the phone and there's no dial tone. Something you won't even hear today, which is funny. is out and realizes there's been a window left open, so she knows the person is probably inside with her. All of a sudden, the person lunges out from behind the couch, goes to try to attack Laurie. She stabs him with a knitting needle. Person stumbles and collapses behind the couch. Looks like they're dead. That's what you're assuming, that they're dead. Laurie goes to get Lindsay and Tommy, says she has killed whoever was after her, as they walk up the stairs behind her. That was probably one of the creepier scenes in the movie. They're just a person walking up the stairs as she's telling them, oh yeah, no, that person's dead. For sure. Definitely not alive. And then as soon as this person gets to the top of the stairs, Tommy tells Laurie, you can't kill the boogeyman, as they all spot the person right behind Laurie. Laurie tells the kids to run. I can't remember whether she locks them in a closet or bathroom or something. Anyway, she runs into the bedroom. She opens the door to the balcony, hides in the closet. Person tries to break into the closet, and eventually ends up breaking in the closet. Laurie grabs a coat hanger, stabs the person in the eye with the coat hanger. This person drops their knife that they have. Laurie then stabs this person with the knife, and they collapse again. Laurie drops the knife. Then the kids are running across the street to get help. This person sits up behind Laurie. Dr. Loomis spots Tommy and Lindsay running from the house, so he clearly knows where to go now. Person stands up behind Laurie, where he begins to kind of like slowly saunter down the hallway. All of a sudden, this person grabs Laurie, attacks her again, tries to choke her. Dr. Loomis runs to help Laurie. Laurie rips the mask off of Michael, because now, finally, Dr. Loomis and Laurie have met. So now you know that Michael is the person that is after Laurie. I know it took the entire movie just to kind of get the story put together. Dr. Loomis shoots Michael 6 times, at least that's how many I counted. Could have been more. Michael stumbles backwards, falls off the balcony to the ground. You can hear the thud. Laurie asks Dr. Loomis, was that the boogeyman? And he says, yes. When Dr. Loomis goes to look over the balcony to see where Michael should be laying, Michael is already gone. And that's the end of the movie. And then it just plays the Halloween theme music, and you can hear like the breathing of Michael in the background, but you don't know where he is. So it really leaves for a sequel for sure. And obviously there's 10 movies, 11 now. So, and there's supposed to be a 12th one coming out, and I guess a 13th. So I'm really excited for those because I really do like this series. And that's it for this review. So if you liked it, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.